What's going on? Welcome to the podcast. Got a question for you. Tired of not having good swag? Tired of your wardrobe looking bland? Need some heat when you hit the streets? I got that solution. That aggressive M. McLean's Circle. The circle, if you will. You can always go to lsmclean.com. There's a link right there to my store. Laced. Or you can always go to @McLean_circle on IG. Laced. Do yourself a favor. Go to the circle. Get this heat. And I'm going to do you a favor. Use code Let's Eat at checkout. And I'm going to say you some cheese. Because that's how I do. The circle. Join it. See you there. Now let's get started with this podcast.
Ayo, it's podcast time. Let's do it.
Oh, I think. All right, we're in. We're doing it. We're actually doing it. All right. Back again with another, hopefully, wonderful episode of Corner of the Circle podcast. I am your host, LS McLean, aka
what?
Joe Rogan, Bro Rogan.
Oh yeah.
Black Joe Rogan. I have someone here that's very, very special, very near and dear to my heart. She's been one of my friends for a long time, dude. Oh my gosh. We used to do the cheerleading thing together. She broke my heart. I'm just joking.
And vice versa.
Oh, get out of here! This is my intro. No, no joke, you guys. There are very few people that I have in my life that that I really, really look up to. On a lot of levels. She's one of the very few. When I say it's rarefied air, it's quite rarefied air. When it comes to this young woman, I mean, she's an award winner. She's been a coach. She is a mother. She is a wife. She is a TV celebrity. She's literally been any and everything that you aspire to be. And right now, she belongs to us. However long she'll have us. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you the one, the only, Mrs. Denisecabellotv. Thank you.
Oh my goodness.
Listen.
Oh goodness. Got me a little emotional.
A little bit of something, So I think, it's so weird trying to be a host to a host. It's so like in the back of my head, I'm like, man, I hope I don't mess this up. Because you always feel like there's like, hopefully she's not judging me. And if she is, it don't matter because I'll delete it. But no, I'm super happy that you say yes to this, that you're choosing to be a part of this. I only have a lot of things going on, and I appreciate it. For those of the world, those of my number that live under a rock that don't know who you are, what you're about, could you give us about a minute rundown of who you are? A little something.
Little something. Well, first of all, I am honored that you asked me to be on your podcast. So exciting. And congratulations on your successfulness of life. But there's probably a lot of people who don't know who I am because LS and I were in the cheer world together. That's how we got to know each other. After I left the cheer world, I went into television, local television in San Antonio. And so I worked in television for the last 8 years. And I did my little climb, and I was the co-host of a morning lifestyle show in San Antonio. And I just recently stopped. So the beginning of this year is like the first time that I haven't really had a job. I'm setting myself up really good. I'm unemployed. So but it's for the first time since I was like 16. I haven't had a job, just kind of like figuring out what's next. But yeah, I was a cheerleading coach for a long time, and then I was a television host for a long time, and now who knows?
I mean, didn't they say being a mother is the hardest job on earth?
Oh yeah, because it's true.
There it is. Boom.
Super hard.
Like you know what I mean? Hard. So you're actually working pretty hard right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I don't even know. Like it's so hard for people that haven't really done cheer or haven't been in the cheer world to kind of understand like really how it is. You tend to meet people tend to come in and out of your life a lot in the cheer world. So for you to be able to even like cultivate any type of friendship that lasts more than 2 summers, that lasts more than 2 years even, it's a miracle in itself. So we've been friends for a long time, and it's weird because even after you left cheer and I stayed in, we still stayed friends and still stayed in contact, and I was like still be able to see you make your climb and everything. I'm like, yo, I wish I could do that, but it's a lot easier to do the podcast because I'm ugly. So there's I don't know. It's a lot of fun to be able to kind of reconnect, man. And me, I don't think I do anything on a like regularly. So I'm like, rather than reconnect and be like, hey, how's it going? Let's do it on the podcast. Because I do feel like you have such just a dope story, number one, and number two, like I don't know that there's anybody out there that that doesn't believe in chasing their dreams. It's just how many people actually take that opportunity, like, this is my dream, this is something I want to do, and I'm going to go after it. As long as I've known you, you know what I mean, that's been a goal of yours, and you're one of the few people that set, let's be 100. You're one of the few people that set a goal and you went out and made that happen, which is stupid crazy when you think about because what are the percentages of people like, hey, I want to play the NFL? You never do it. Like, I want to be a professional Dallas Cowboy cheerleader. Never happens. So the fact that you set out to do what you did and you did it and you Barry Sanders'd it, man. Like, all right, done what I got to do. I'm out.
I'll take that.
Yeah. Sure. So it was really cool. And of course, like those of our number that, because we had a pretty decent group. We all kind of stayed in contact. I think for me, it was always cool to see how proud we are of each other. You know what I mean? And each other's accomplishments and stuff. And, and still have those times like, man, remember the time we did that one camp? Oh my God, that was so dope. But dude, you see what Denise is doing? Like, so it's always, it's always really, it's always really cool to see how everyone did and how everyone, evolved. Those of us that chose to leave the cheer world now, and for those of our number that chose to stay in it, a lot of them did very, very well. And so, I mean, it was one of those things where, if you're able to meet and make friends, that's one thing. But if you're able to make friends for a lifetime, that's a whole different thing altogether. So I've been able to, just watch your evolution, man. Like I met you when you were like,
as a little baby,
a little young star. You know what I mean? Now you're a grown woman. Ooh. You know what I mean? Ooh. Like, what are we doing with our lives? So yeah, man. Back in those days, I didn't have any gray in my beard.
I have some gray in here in my hair.
That's dope. I like that. Yeah, I see stripe. You. You earned your stripe. Look at you.
Yeah, sure did. I earned every single one of those.
For real. So now, now that you're able to be at home and breathe, because it seems like you're able to breathe, and you don't have a deadline. You don't have to, I think the coolest part, because when I left corporate America, and it's one thing to wake up that next morning like, oh, okay, so now what do I do? Because it happens. But when you leave and you're like, all right, now what do I do? Yeah. And you don't panic, like, all right, you know what? Yeah. I do what I want.
There's a piece, yeah.
And, to not have a deadline, I was very fortunate because when I did work at a regular job, I did have some pretty cool bosses. I did have some pretty cool superiors. But bruh, to not have a boss, to not have to answer to somebody, or to not have a boss that's trying to impress another boss. Yeah. Or to not be worried about, hey, corporate's coming. The word corporate used to just make me sick to my stomach. The fact that I don't have to necessarily do that anymore, And I have a growing number of friends like yourself that, you know, are deciding to take, you know, it's weird to say it, but to take their life back, you know what I mean? Before it's too late, before time runs out. Because you see a lot of it happening, you know, older, you know what I mean? Like, oh, my mid 50s, you know what I mean? Like, I'm going to retire early, or I'm going to do this. Like, you know, some people aren't doing it, you know, in their 30s. Some people aren't doing it in their late 20s. Some people aren't doing it in their early 40s. Like, they're, you know, like, so when you put yourself in a position to where you can and you do, and you have all that life to live, and you know, you have all that life, talking about the little ones to influence, it's, man, it's got to be like a liberating feeling, man. And so you know, I've seen so many of my friends do it. I'm like, man, why can't I do that? Why can't I do that? Well, you can, fool. You just chose not to. The fact that you chose to do it, I mean, and, you know, and you're here to talk about it, and, you know, and you're still in good spirits and you're still smiling. Like, you know, I think sometimes people forget, like, you know, I mean, don't get me wrong. You got to work to eat. Working is good. Working isn't life. And, you know, setting the goals, accomplishing those goals, and moving on to the next, dude, that's what's up, you know. And, you know, I think the coolest thing that I've learned over the years, especially from my daddy, man, he always says, like, you have more time than you think you have. And it's okay to, you know, to not have an answer. It's okay not to have a destination right now. You have more time than you think you do, you know. And I'll be damned, man. You know, no sooner did he say that, like, you know, you're right, Pops, I'm out. And I, you know, and you know, I started my own, you know, new adventure. So, I mean, to say that I'm proud of you is like probably the biggest understatement ever. I think more than anything, I'm happy for you, because I know I've been where you're at right now. And I know in a couple months from now, at least for me, I hit this moment. I was just like, oh my God, I'm so happy. Like,
well, I feel like we left the cheer world under similar circumstances. Well, you're still kind of in the cheer world, but like, for me, what was a big moment was getting to the point where I valued myself more than I needed this job, right?
Absolutely.
And that's kind of like in both my careers that happened to me. So like in the cheer world, I worked for them for like 7-8 years or something, and it ended terribly. Like, it was just like I put all that time in, and none of it was seen, is what it felt like. You know what I mean? And so I got to the point where I'm like, why am I still doing this and working so hard and not getting any reciprocation, not getting anything out of it? And so when I left, it was like, I mean, that was like early late 20s. So it was like, oh gosh, what now? That was a scary moment for me, because I had only done cheerleading, and so I did not know what was next. But I remember, like, when I was very young, I always said I wanted to be Oprah Winfrey. And so I remembered that. And then I had done some internships in college with TV. And so I remembered that. And so I was like, okay, let's give it a shot. Let's go for it. And to get into an internship, I couldn't get a job without having experience. I needed an internship to get experience. I needed to be in college to get an internship. I had already graduated at that point with my bachelor's. And so I got into a master's program to get into an internship in television. And so but I mean, even at that, I was like the old intern. Like, I was in my master's. And so like, there was all these little ones that are super young and super cute running around. And here I am, like the old intern. But just like hustle. But it went through that same thing. So like in television, I started off as an intern. I then became a part-time production assistant, running a camera, those like huge studio cameras. I was running one of those. And then I became a part-time editor for 2 shows. Then I became a part-time associate producer for 2 shows. Then I finally got full-time after that. I had been like reporting since my production assistant days. So I would go set up my camera and then go report and then come back. And so I had done that. And then it finally got to the point where I was full-time and I was a producer and I was a reporter for 2 shows. And then it got to the point where I was a producer and a co-host for 1 show. No, I was a producer for 2 shows, co-host for 1 show. And I did all of that. And it was very satisfying to do that. You know what I mean? Like to do that climb and to like hustle and work and get there. It was very satisfying. But at the end of my career, it hit that same point where I'm like, I'm giving more than I'm getting. I'm getting paid for 1 job, but I'm doing 3. And overworked, underpaid, and not invested in, you know, like that little moment where they're like, you know, I see you doing your work and I am appreciative of it. Like sometimes that doesn't happen, you know? And so it finally, you know, after all that, like I loved my job and I loved what I did, but it got to the point again where it was like, no, I value myself more than what I'm getting. And so it's just like, you know, like, sure, being on TV seems like it's very glamorous, and it can be sometimes, but it, I mean, it was a lot of work, and it wasn't all, you know, it's not all this glamour, especially in like a mid-size local level market. Like when you're in New York and LA, you get your hair and makeup done. Like I was doing my hair and makeup, you know? And so it's like, I mean, it got to the point where it's just like, okay, I feel like in these careers, I grew to like a maturing point and to like a value point. And if there's, I mean, that's a hard point to get to though, to realize like, if they're not going to give it to you, then you've got to go. Like you can't stay, you know, like if they're not going to value you, you've got to find out what's next, you know?
Absolutely.
So that's a hard point to get to.
I think, I mean, at least from what I gather, I think everyone, you know, I guess at least just hearing, you know, what you're saying and hearing like just your growth and everything, a lot of it just seems that it comes from knowing your self-worth, like knowing what you're worth, knowing what you bring to the table, and absolutely knowing that, you know what, I know the type of worker I am. I know the type of person I am. I know what I give. If that cannot be reciprocated, and I don't think people understand how simple a pat on the back is. How, hey man, thank you so much. You know what I mean? Like, thank you so much has kept me at a job for at least another 6 months. I'm not even lying to you. You know what I mean? And then obviously it's cool to be given the words, but if you're not showing me the greenbacks, like, hey man, listen, we appreciate what you're doing. By the way, I mean, we don't really have much, you know, you already know what our budget's like. We're going to give you extra $20. That's trash. But at least you're trying. Like, at least show me that I matter to you in any way possible. Now, like, not to say that's going to keep me around, but to know that, you know what, they value me to the point that, like, at least they're trying. But the biggest thing, man, is, you know, especially, I mean, it's really cool because I know a lot of my cheergirls are gonna probably listen to this, so I'm excited for them to listen to this because one of the things that, I mean, at least I try to do with a lot of them when we have our one-on-ones, because you know me and I like to have my one-on-ones with my little girls, is, you know, talking about self-worth, talking about the value that you have. And I mean, obviously, I mean, we're talking about a career here. We're talking about two fulfilling jobs that had that you know, they ran their course, and I mean, and you know what, and they did for you what they needed to do. They got you to a point that you're like, all right, you know what, thank you. Now I'm on to the next. With a lot of my young ladies, man, you know, a lot of it is this, you know, it may not just be a job, it may be a relationship that they're in. It might be, you know, some friendships, because I mean, friendships right now, friendships can be just as toxic as a bad relationship. So, you know, for them to know the worth, like, do you know the type of friend that you are in comparison to those friends that you're with? Do you know the type of, you know, girlfriend you are in, you know, as opposed to your boyfriend? Are you being equally yoked? Do you, you know, do you have somebody that values you as much as you value them? And especially in college, man, you see it over and over and over. They get in these trash relationships with these trash people. And they treat them like trash, but they just keep holding on to it.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And I'm like, dude, I'm telling you from the experience of a trash dude. I'm telling you right now, I was a POS. I'm telling you right now, that dude's playing you.
Yeah.
He's playing you. You know what? Okay. All right. So, all right. You know what? Don't even tell me what he's doing. I'll tell you what he's doing. Oh my God, that's spot
and here's
on.
What he's gonna do next.
Here's what he's gonna do. You know what? You probably don't want to hang out with an old girl because she's probably trying to holler at him. I'm just telling you right now. Your friend's kind of cute. He's probably gonna holler at her. She's probably gonna holler back at him. Just letting you know right now. You know what I mean? It's like,
teach these babies. Gotta teach them.
God to listen. It's weird. The older you get, it's at least as a man. The older I get, the more I realize, like, hey man, I did this to someone's daughter.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean? And I knew I was gonna do it. You know what I'm saying? Even worse, I knew I had the capability and the power to do it. You know what I mean? I'm like, you know what? This girl is feeling me.
Yeah.
I'm gonna ruin her life real quick. Just on some just dumb. You know, and then you look back on it, you're like, you know what? If I could go back and be like, hey, mama, I am sorry.
Yeah.
But there was a couple times, like, I was like, yo, I really, like, there's a couple that I was like, I really want to be with this girl, but I don't think she takes me that serious. You know what? I'm about to get in and out. I can't stay too long. Like, because you just don't, like, dudes, we're just, you know, I mean, they say females are complicated, which, I mean, from the male perspective, you are, but dude, as guys, we're so fickle and just weird about, you know, especially about relationships and emotions. Because you know, I mean, because obviously our little dumb brains still are maturing. It's just so much. It's, oh my God, so crazy. But like, I think about all these things, you know, about knowing my worth and knowing what I bring to the table, and you know. And the combination, you know, coupling it with what you're saying about knowing your worth and knowing what you bring to the table and knowing when it's time to, you know, to hang it up, to move it on to the next thing. And I'm like, man, I hope my girls watch this so they understand, like, you know what? Anyone needs to know and can know when it's time to make that move.
Okay, because you said that, like, if your girls are listening to this, which I hope that's beautiful if they are, because they're supporting you and that's sweet. But if they are, and if any of them want to go into television as a career, I completely encourage it. Like, absolutely. I loved my career in television. It was super fun. It was amazing. You're going to work hard. You're going to be told no. You're going to cry. And then you keep going, right? But what I will say is what I probably would have done is moved around more. So I did that whole climb at the same station. So they knew where they had me. You know what I mean? Like they started my part-time salary. They knew what they started me at. So they knew every step of the way how far they could push me. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And so I would encourage, if you go into TV, you get that experience, and you're going to have to do, like, the reality of it, especially the way the TV industry, the local television industry is going, is you're doing multiple jobs for the price of one. That's just kind of the trend. So you're going to do that to a point. So my advice would be is set those boundaries, like set a static time where you're like, okay, I'll do this for 6 months. I'll do this for a year, whatever. Like, I'll allow myself to be underpaid for that long, but then I'm moving and I'm going to whatever the next best thing is. And it probably won't be with the same station. So be prepared to move around wherever it is, you know, because like you'll go to some small stations around the country and then you'll build to where you need to be, but be prepared to do that. I think that really helps find success, because if you're coming into a new station with this experience, you can leverage that to ask for more money, obviously. So that's my advice for that. And then can I give some advice on relationships?
Please do. This is your go for it.
Yes, sir. Podcast going pretty good so far, right? Right. Now, this particular portion is going to be brought to you by Virus International. Dude, some of the dopest performance wear in the game. I got all the stuff from shorts to leggings to shirts to sweats. They got it all. Hats, socks. Hey, they even got singlets. So, if you want to raise your game up a little bit, it might be time to go to Virus. Now, you can go to Virus a few different ways, okay? Number one, you can always go to virusinternational.com. Right there, VIRUSINTL.com. Boom, and you'll be right there. Or, you can always go to Virus on IG. Just type that in, and guess what? You're going to find them. Or, you can go to ellismcclain.com. Did I say that right? No, I didn't. ellismcclain.com. And you'll be able to go to the bottom of the page, and there'll be a link there that links you to Virus. Now, and again, if you want to save some money, just use the code Let's Eat 10% off at the end of checkout. Boom, you're good to go. Help your boy out. Virus. You know what it is. Let's get back to the show.
I've always I said this to one of my girlfriends not too long ago. She asked me how you know someone is the one, right? Like how did I know my husband was the one?
Right.
And I don't think that's the way that you should look at it. Right. Because in reality, there are a lot of the ones.
Thank you.
My husband was married before me.
Right.
To she who shall not be named. That's what I call her. But
that is so Denise. That is
very right.
I hope that one of our friends is listening and watching me, because that is such a Denise thing to say. Oh my God.
Uh-huh. Do you see my little lightning?
Oh my God. That is the most Denise thing you've said this whole podcast. But golly.
It comes out every once in a while.
Oh my God.
But I say that because there are lots of the ones. Mm-hmm. And that's how love continues, after divorce, after the loss of, a husband, a spouse, a wife, whatever, right. A significant other, you always find love. So there Absolutely. Are multiple the ones. I think it's more, for me, what it was looking at was me being ready, me being in the right headspace, me being there to know that, because so what LS didn't tell you is back in our cheer days, I was a little bit of a party girl, and I liked to party, and I didn't like to settle down. And so I never thought I was going to. I legitimately never thought I was going to settle down. And so it took me getting to the point where I could acknowledge the relationship, have enough respect for the relationship, and then decide that that's how I was going to be. And it's almost a daily decision. You decide that you're going to be committed to this person, and then the rest of it falls into place. Because if you are waiting for this fairy tale to last 60 years of your life with someone, that doesn't happen anymore. And even when it did, I think about my grandparents' generation. My grandparents were together for 60 plus years, right? Before my grandfather passed away. But even that, they met at 16 or whatever. Yeah. Even that fairy tale relationship had so many struggles. Yeah, to sure. To the point where thinking if I was in that relationship, I probably wouldn't have stuck it out that long. You know what I mean? And so you can't rely on a fairy tale. Yeah. No, there isn't the one. There's a being in the right headspace for a relationship and deciding that you're gonna do it. Yeah. For me, it's a big thing about I'm deciding I'm gonna stick with it. I'm deciding Absolutely. That I'm gonna continue this.
I think I just decided at one point that rather than trying to find the one, I was going to be the one. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, I like that.
Preparing myself to,
yeah.
Because at the end of the day, man, I've always, I've always been the type, I'm going to pray over it, you know what I mean? But then I'm going to believe it's going to happen. But at the same time, I've got to make sure I'm ready on my end. Because what if,
be proactive. What I mean?
What if that person just walked right past me? What if I met that person? What if I met those people and I'm just not ready to rock? Because, let's be 100. there might be some people that are completely prepared to be my North Star, that are completely prepared to be with me, to to help me be the best version of myself that I can be. And I'm over here just a bucket of trash, not ready to rock. And I've I've kissed a lot of frogs, dog. And unfortunately, I've been that frog that's been I've been that frog. So, one day, I mean, at least as a man, you just get tired of being a frog, bro. Like, I'm tired of being, I'm tired of, like, dating these chicks only for them to find the next dude and them get married. Or, to date a girl only if I'm like, yo, thank you so much, because I figured out what I didn't want. I'm like, oh, say word. So I'm
so glad.
Yeah, so I'm that stepping stone. Okay, man. Appreciate you. So, cool. At some point you just get tired as a man of being that dude looking for the one. So you start trying to work on yourself to be the one. I would love to sit here and pretend like I have all the answers. I do know this. I do know that I've never been in a relationship and been happier when I wasn't happy with myself. I've never,
True.
I've never been in a relationship, and really enjoyed my significant other if I didn't enjoy who I was as a man. I know that. So like, well, maybe there's something to this whole, hey, maybe I need to be a better person for myself. I can be pretty decent for someone else. I mean, because I do believe that you're going to attract the type of vibe that you put out. You are going to, you're going to attract that type of person that you are. If you have, at least for me, when I was at my lowest point and had my lowest, poor self-esteem, I tend to attract those type of people that, kind of preyed on that type, what I mean? Like, I just really didn't, when I didn't think much of myself, I tend to get those type of girls that lean toward that type, you know what I mean? And, I'm like, oh, I love crazy girls, bro, because I was crazy as a damn self. So, like, and then the day came where I was like, you know what, man, I know that I'm better than this. Therefore, I'm not going to accept anything better than what I feel I am as a man. And everything changed.
I tried to save a lot of men. Like,
please speak on this,
because I know your girls are doing the same thing. I tried to save a lot of men or boys, I should say, and turn them into men, and that's not how it works. Man. It first of all, it shouldn't be that difficult. Second of all, they're not going to change for you, and that doesn't say anything about you. Like, that's their thing.
Yes.
If you can't get someone to change, that's not because it's anything spoken about you.
No.
That's their thing. That's where they are. And this like ridiculous desire that a lot of especially young girls have to like save someone, to turn them into who they think that he or she should be for them. Like, it's not worth it, and it's not gonna happen though. No, they're not gonna change for you, but that doesn't mean anything about you. Just move on.
It doesn't reflect on you at all.
Yeah.
What does reflect on you if you choose to stick around with a person that clearly has no intention of working for the better, the betterment of themselves or you. That's when it starts, like, you know what, then you can start doing this. Like, what am I doing wrong? What you doing wrong? Just sticking around with this turd. And the thing is, you already know that the guy's a piece of shite, but you stick around because you're trying to change him. I feel like I see the potential in him. You know what? And maybe people have given up on him. I'm not going to give up on him, or whatever it is that you have to tell yourself. Guess what? Because this dude's giving up on himself. You can't you can't change somebody that doesn't want to change. And I mean,
and you're not quitting them either,
no,
though.
You're
like,
not.
That's the thing. Like, I mean, I think that there does have to be a certain extent where you separate yourself from them, because that toxicity can really get into you quickly. So you have to be vigilant about that. But you're not quitting them. Like, that's not it either. Like, you just have to realize that it's okay to not be able to change someone, and it's okay to let them go also. Like, you're not quitting them. You're just putting yourself first. That's also okay.
Well, what I've seen a lot of times happen, and it me, I'm a baby. I cry about everything, man. But like, sometimes what, in that drive from San Marcos to New Braunfels, that little 15-minute drive, I do a lot of crying, man, over some of my girls. I've done it over the years so many times. But one of the things that always tended to break me down was literally seeing them working so hard to try to change a dude, and the guy being so toxic, or the relationship being so toxic that they're in, and you literally see them changing right before your eyes. And sometimes they see it, sometimes they don't. But because they're with that person, and I mean, here's the thing: what people forget about just the whole idea of toxicity. You can have a full tank of fish and have one dead fish in that tank, and it affects the whole tank. It doesn't need a lot. You can have one worm in a basket, and it messes up the whole thing. Like, it doesn't take a lot. One grain of salt can make a whole thing. Like, yeah, it's just, it doesn't take a lot for a toxic person. A toxic person to really, you know, alter your life. They don't mess it up, so, you know, so to speak, but they can alter the way that you behave, because love is such a powerful thing. And the idea of love is just as powerful. And you want to be with that person so badly. This is both men and women. You want to be with that person so badly. You want it to work so badly. And, you know, you may have heard it enough from people to be like, hey, you know what, that he or she's not good for you. And so for some reason that negativity that you've received towards relationship, it almost brings you closer towards wanting to make it work with that person. It's us versus the world, Bonnie and Clyde. People forget Bonnie and Clyde died at the end, cuz they forget that.
Alert.
You know what I mean? But like
That's
you
funny.
But you know what I'm saying? Like, oh, I want Romeo and Juliet. You forgot they both died at the end, cuz. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're, you know, I mean, it's just, you want to make it work so badly, and you tend to lean into that person that much more. You can go weeks, months even without talking to your friends and family because you're with that person so much. And you know, it's not necessarily a bad thing, but when it starts affecting how you perform, how you act, how you behave, how you treat those around you, and people notice it, bro, sometimes it's not them versus you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so that's the part that always hurts my heart, man, because I see it happen over and over, especially doing college cheer. I'm going to see it at least 3-4 times every year. And in my heart, I'm praying, God, please don't let this happen to her. This girl is a great girl. She's got a great heart. Please don't let her heart be tarnished by this fool. This dude's an idiot. And if I were the LS of old, listen, I have no problem saying I beat a lot of college kids' asses, man, when I found out they were being trashed toward my girls. I don't even care. And when I got to more like, hey, man, I can't be a 30-plus-year-old man beating up on these little 18, 19-year-olds. Then I would call my homeboys, hey, man, there's this little dude out there, man, putting his hands on my girl. I need you to handle that. Like, and now it's one of those things where it's just, you just want the best for the people that you love, and they mean so much to me. But, you know, but you see it over and over and over. Like, you know, maybe it'll be different. Maybe it'll be different. Maybe if I say something, maybe if I focus more on them as human beings, as women, as young women, as developing young women, than just as athletes, maybe they'll see like, hey, man, if at the very least, I know that my dad loves me. I know that my grandpa loves me. I know my uncles love me. I know the men in my family, that my blood relatives, I know they love me. Yeah. But I have this little short black dude. Every time I go to practice, he loves on me like I might not show up again tomorrow. He treats me like a woman. Every time he sees me, he tells me that I look nice. He tells me when I do well. He pats me on the back. He asks about my grades. He asks how my family's doing. This guy treats me like a human being every single time he sees me. And my boyfriend doesn't even do that.
Yeah, yeah.
He asks me how my day goes. And my boyfriend, you know, we've been together 3 years now, and he barely even talks to me.
That's sad.
But you see it over and over and over. So I'm like, okay, well, may not be able to change your mind, but maybe you'll see like, hey, man, if this dude cares about me to the point that he's always acting how I'm doing, he's always trying to make sure, like, why is the man that says he loves me every day, why does he do this? You know, and so, you know, if anything, while Pops isn't around, let me set the standard. You know what I mean? I just feel like that positive male role model that, you know, that we as men definitely need in our lives, that same positive male role model is needed in these young women's lives, man. Yeah. And you know, it's just, I don't know, man. But it at the same time, again, we circle back to you on how, you know, you have that, and certainly, you know, you've always known your worth. And even in those times that, you know, I can speak from experience. Even in those times that you may have been in your party stage, you still like, bro, like I can honestly tell you, I've had many conversations like, nah, bro, not Denise. Nah, she don't borrow that, bro. Nah, she don't. Nah, Denise is different, bro. You probably want to move around. Like, so it's, like it's never been one of those things where like, you were a pushover or whatever, but it was even if you didn't know what you knew what you didn't want. You know what I'm saying? And so a lot of times, Bob, like some of this ladies in general, men and women in general, you may not know exactly what you want, but you can definitely identify the things that you don't want.
That's great. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so again, we circle back to you. We circle back to you knowing your worth. You know what you don't want. I don't want to be treated like I'm just another person here. I want to be treated as if I have value because I know my value. And I shouldn't have to beg, borrow, and steal and scrape and scratch for you to see the value that I bring. Mm-hmm. I would like to think that there's value added every time I step into the building. If you don't see that, then I got to move around to where that is. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And the crazy thing is, you will never have to be in front of a camera. You will never have to be in front of another set of eyes. And as soon as you walk in that door, there's going to be someone like, I love you so much. Everything you do is amazing. You know what I'm saying? There's something about family that just, you know what? Everything in the world, time out. Somebody thinks I'm a star as soon as I walk in the door, no matter what. You know what I mean? And I feel like, that's always the thing that, even here you speak, like, I think, like sometimes, I'm not saying that you forget, but I think that sometimes people forget, like, you know what? While maybe out there, you know what I mean, in the 210, these people saw me as a star. And when I gave all that up, like, oh man, well, there goes that. But there's still somebody, like, as soon as you walk in the door, like, mommy, what's up? You're the star. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's one of the things, man, that I pray over all the time. Like, you know what, dude, if and when I have my kids, dude, I'll be able to walk in the door like, what up, daddy? What's going on? Like, because I know how I was when my dad walked in the door. Every time my dad walked in the door, I was like, what's up, daddy? What's going on? I don't know why this is my thing. But, daddy, what's going on? But I know that's got to be one of the dopest feelings ever.
Yeah, and pretty great.
I think, at the end of the day, not that that's everyone's goal, but for quite a few of us, that's our ultimate goal, is to have an awesome family, to have some awesome little niños walking around. You know what I mean? That love you and that you love. I said it. I was gonna say little Negroes, but whatever.
You were speaking about my family. Little niños.
First of all, you know my second family is Mexican. Thank you very much. But yeah, like I always thought to myself, man, like, if this is, obviously wherever position I'm in, like, this is good, but if it gets better than this, oh my gosh, I need to go find that.
Yeah.
And that's where I'm at right now. Like, dude, where I'm at right now in life is pretty dope, but I do know that it can get better. So I need to go find that. And I think it's always cool being able to do podcasts and talk to people, because I'm like, you know what? I'm not the only one that feels like I need to do better. I can do better. I can find better. You know what I mean? Like, to hear you say it, like, you know what? That's cool. Now I'm on to the next thing. Like, yes, what's up? And the thing is, because it's so weird, because it's like, you don't know you like I know you. You know what I'm saying? Well, you know you. But like, I know you, and knowing like Denise, like I know Denise, like, oh my gosh, she's gonna kill it, whatever she's gonna do. And so it's like, all right, cool. Herb, let me know what you figure out, so I can be like, all right, that's what she's doing now. Like, I just, I will openly admit, I mean, and the dudes that I kick it with now, they'll let you know, like, I make it an absolute habit of surrounding myself with the dopest people that I can. Because I know that I need that inspiration from the people around me. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And with your prime example, I tend to hold on to those people that I super duper value for whatever reason. And I find a way to I'm almost like a roach, bro. You think your house is super clean, and I come around like, hey, I'm here. I'm here. Like, while you may not see me every day, you may not hear from me every day, but every now and again, I'm going to keep like, hey, remember me, to let you know I'm here. Peace. And I do that with quite a few of the people that I really, really value. Of course, you being one of those. no matter what. You know what I mean? Like, I'll find a way to get like, oh, bro, who uses Facebook? I certainly don't. But every now and then I'm like, hey, ha, 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 that was funny. Oh, you got IG? What's your IG? Let me find out. Like, I'm going to find my people.
Yeah.
But it's always good, it's always good to see the people that you value, you know what I mean, value themselves as much as you value them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think for me, that's super encouraging because, I just know how, like, as long as I've known you, you've always been a hard worker. You know what I'm saying? And, sometimes, because I think we've had a couple of discussions back in the cheer days, like, bro, they're not showing you the love they should be showing you. You know what I mean? Like, because I think at that time they were showing me stupid love. And I'm like, I don't understand when I'm not showing you. And I mean, I'll admit some of it was like me just being selfish. Like, you know what? I'm going to go to this camp. Why aren't you on this? You need to be on this camp with your boy. This is stupid. Why are they not showing you the love? Like, you got to go do a private camp?
Private camp.
Oh man, like, God. So like, yeah, dude, I just like a lot of times, man, like and again, if there's a lesson to be learned out of all this is if you have good friends that have your back, that hold you down, hold on to them because they are very, very, very few and far between. That's for sure. That is for sure.
The older you get, the smaller your little friend circle gets, but it's quality.
It's absolutely quality. I mean, if it's just weird, man. And you'll go through a million relationships, dude, but those friends that had your back, those same people will still be there, making fun of you for the dumb decisions that you made, but they ain't going anywhere. And so, for my girls, or for any young woman, young man that's listening to this, man, that's trying to figure out, like, hey, man, are my people my people? Bro, if you have to ask yourself if your people are your people, then they're probably not your people.
They'll reveal it. They're gonna show it to you.
Yeah, they
That's
always
another
do.
thing. You don't have to try so hard with it. When you find your people, you know it.
Same thing with relationships.
Yeah.
All the best ones I've ever had, it wouldn't even work. You didn't have to try. You showed up, you were just with them, and you loved it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
what's up, guys? Thank you guys so much for listening or watching this podcast, depending on what form of media you're using. Number one thing I want to let you guys know about, I need you guys to go check out Bare Performance Nutrition, one of the greatest, best tasting supplements out there. And rule number one, they're very, very, very clean. So if you're an athlete, get tested, guess what? BPN is what you need to use. Now, you can either go to bareperformancenutrition.com to check them out, and or you can go to IG and go to @BPNSubs, or if you just don't want to do any of that and you want to just find an easier way to go to that, well, I got it. You can always go to lsmcclain.com, and there's a link on the page that you can get to Bare Performance Nutrition. Now, at checkout, I need you to use this code. Use the code Let's Eat, and you'll save at the end of checkout. Thank you guys very much. Let's get back to the show.
it was, and there was always support. And that's the thing I think I left out talking about earlier because I was just hyped. If you're in a relationship with anyone and you don't feel the support, bro, they're not for you. I'm telling you right now, if at any point, you know what I mean? Like, let's be 100. Like, very seldom are you really, if you're a part of something that you feel is bigger than you, if you're a part of something that you feel is amazing, and that person that you're with, if they're showing you support, they're going to be like, hey, man, hey, it's time. Isn't it time for you to go to that meeting? Hey, isn't it time for you for this? Hey, you know what? Your tumbling was trash. Don't you think you need to go to the gym, work on that? Or, hey, I think it's time to go to the gym. Hey, don't eat that. I thought you were trying to, get shredded by summer. Hey, remember, you know what I mean? Like, you have a support system, and usually your significant other is usually the number one person in that support system, especially with dudes. If you got your, oh my God, if you're
and they're not intimidated by your success. If someone is not wanting you to reach your success, they're not the person.
Like, I can tell you, as a man, I will tell you straight up, when I'm supportive of my girl, I am her biggest fan. You know what I mean? And, if she's doing something I don't really think is dope, I'm like, hey, listen, I think it's whack what you're doing. But if it makes you happy, I got you, whatever. But if it's something I really feel like, man, I don't like it, I show no love. I'll be the first to admit that. So, like, if you're with a person, and I know with guys, we're just spoiled from the jump, because a girl could literally hate what you're doing, but the fact that it makes you happy, she'll still have your back. Like, hey, I know you're not supposed to be going on this shooting spree, but you just, I know you've been to gun range, you've been working so hard. You know what? okay. You're like, a woman will have your back knowing you are dead wrong, but they'll still have your back.
That's funny.
Dudes, nah, bro. We're so fair weather. Like, you know what I mean? We're the word. We're hella fickle. But I mean, at the end, I guess the moral of the story is get you somebody that's gonna have your back no matter what. And if they don't, you don't need them. And that's the same thing with your friendships, man. Like those friendships are gonna outlast any relationship. If the relationship happens to last as long as your friendships, guess what? You probably, you're probably gonna end up with somebody that, I mean, you fall in love with your best friend. At least that's you know what I mean? That's the way I look at it. So I mean, and if they're not, by the time you get a few years in, if they're not by then, bro, I don't know what to tell you. It's a long life. But yeah, dude, I don't know. Like it's just, oh my God, we could talk and talk and talk. I'm trying not to talk your ear off. Dude, yeah, we're gonna have to have a part 2.
It's always welcome.
Oh my gosh, what we should do. Oh my, you know what? Yeah, we're definitely gonna have a part 2. And I'm just there's so many subjects that we can talk about.
Part 2.
Yeah, we can do a part 2. Like there's so many things there's so many things that obviously we could talk about, you know what I mean? Cause like, I feel like there's woman's perspective that I will never know. You know what I mean? And just the, the tidbits of advice you just gave, to my young women that are listening out there and to my young men that need to be listening. Dude, that was huge. When I put this up and I just literally put the link in the middle of our cheer chat, like, hey, by the way, y'all listen to this. Peace! But I think, at the end of the day, man, I really feel like, loving yourself, realizing your worth, realizing what you bring to the table, and really, really having people that support that, you know what I mean? I think that's so super huge. Like, I don't know. It just feels like, with you, obviously you love yourself, obviously you value yourself, and, and you have the support, you know what I mean, from those around you, you know what I mean? And people, people don't know, like your Denise has one of the dopest families ever.
They're pretty great.
They're pretty great.
They're pretty great.
Her sister is the love of my life. And she knows this. She knows this. But yeah, man, like I just, I think anyone that I've ever known, self included, that has a very supportive family, that like a family that just has your back, you tend to be a little bit more independent. You tend to be a little bit more, stronger mentally, and things don't necessarily phase you as bad, because you do have somebody that has your back no matter what. I think we were both fortunate in that we both come from families that, like, very, very similar in that. I mean, it's just like, you know what? I mean, it may not be the smartest thing you're choosing to do, but we have your back, and whatever you need, we got you.
Yes.
I just, I'm trying not to, just dive deep off into your business, but I do, before we get to our traditional questions, I do want you to talk about a little bit just about that family support, like just about how they help you get to where you are right now. And then sorry, I'm out of your hair. I'm sorry.
That's really sweet. No, yes, I do have a very supportive family. My parents have been married for maybe like 42 years now, something like that, for a long time. And I have a sister that's 3.5 years older than me. My sister is my ride or die. Like, I can tell, she knows all the secrets, all the bad secrets, all the good secrets. She knows everything.
She's the best.
She is the best, and she's helped me through everything, all those bad secrets and bad decisions. She's been there helping me through that. And then my parents have always seen more in me than I've seen in myself. And so it's very encouraging and very helpful especially when, going into the TV industry, when I did, like, it's very competitive and it's very disheartening at times. And so to have that support system was really special. And I mean, even to this day, like when I was contemplating whether or not to stay with the station, my dad was like, no, you got to know what you're worth, and you got to stick to that. Don't let them talk you back into it. Like, if you are making that decision, and so that's where I'm at right now. I'm at my parents' house because they're watching Izzy. They're over there somewhere watching Izzy, and I'm like hiding in the corner over here. But yes, and I mean, even to that extent, all my extended family, I'm very, very blessed and very fortunate to have a really supportive family, a really great support system. And now with my husband too, he's, number one fan, like you were saying, find someone that's that. But so yes, I realize how blessed I am with all of that. And I think, if unfortunately you don't have that, then go find it. Like make yourself, you can make the family. Yeah. You
Absolutely.
can pick your family for sure. Mm-hmm.
All right. Here's my last question.
Ooh. Are these the tough ones?
No, these are the tough ones. Not yet. This is one that says, so, it's not even fair to even ask.
Do it.
Could you see yourself going back to TV? Going back, maybe a different station?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I could. I'm still, and what I think too is important, especially for young ones getting out of college, you're probably not going to jump right into the career you're going to be in for the rest of your life.
Right.
That's okay. You can be in your 30s and change your career. So that's okay too. And so like right now it's, again, blessed and fortunate to have like even just that little savings, that little cush that I can be here and decide what's next. But TV's not out of the question. I love the job. And I think I was good at it. So I think like
great at it.
I think I would get back into TV. But this moment for me is also just like exploring all of the wild ideas that I've always had, and so like for the past week I'm like, no, you know what, I'm gonna be a pilot. That's what I'm gonna do next. I'm gonna fly airplanes.
I've literally looked into it. I'm like, man, how many hours do I have to get? If John Travolta can do it, I can do it. Oh,
I'm saying, but
that would be fire.
Yeah, I'm going a little wild right now, not counting anything out, and that includes TV. So who knows? I don't know what's next. I don't know, but something.
So something. I'm so proud of you. All right, okay, we'll get to these questions. So people
super
know
nervous about this.
Don't be nervous.
This is
This is the one. So as tradition has it, ladies and gentlemen, I always ask the question, who's on your Rushmore? For those of my people of my number that aren't in the States, Mount Rushmore is a historical monument for historical figures that shaped U.S. history. So a lot of times the term like who's on your Rushmore, like who like are four people in your life that or dead or alive that have really shaped who you are, that you really look up to, whatever, what have you. Your Mount Rushmore can be anyone. It could be from any walks of life, whomever. But I asked Denise, who is on your Rushmore and why?
Okay.
In no particular order.
Okay. Well, I don't know. No, I know. No, okay. So I think in this, I feel like some of them are probably going to be cliche, but that's all right. First on my Rushmore would be, I think it's important to put Jesus on there. And that might sound cliche, but that's all right.
Can I tell you, this is the first time someone said Jesus.
Really?
First.
I mean, I'm a woman of faith, and I think it's important. And I will say, like, I think it's important to dive into your faith at any point of your life, and like let that, like explore that, whatever it means to you. Like, I think it's important to have faith and a connection to, to my God, your God, whoever it is, right? So I put Jesus up there. He's always got my back too. And then I think I would have to put Selena on there.
Oh,
Selena's. Porque lo siento muy No, just because I mean, there were not many Oh, hold on. Can you see me?
Yes, I can.
Okay. There were not many Mexican American women that were, doing anything on their own, like making their own path. And Selena was one of the first that really did it, So we'll put Selena on up there. I think right now, also in this moment, I'm going to put Madam Vice President Harris on there.
Okay.
Because we can now say Madam Vice President. That's amazing. And that was very cool to be able to sit with Izzy and be like, hey, look.
Right.
There's a lady that's vice president. So, yes. And then my last one would be my little Izzy. I'd put my daughter's little face up there.
You got to.
Because she's just so cute.
Super cute. Oh my gosh. That's a good Rushmore.
Oh, thank you. I was really nervous about that.
Why?
Because what if I answered wrong?
Yeah. You can't. It's your answer. Like I didn't answer your answer wrong. Man, no, that's sweet. Man, yeah, I don't know, man. I'm still.
Have you ever answered this question?
Yeah, mine changes all the time.
Yeah.
All the time. Like, I mean, for me, me, I'm so like indecisive. Like, all right, I would live through Mount Rushmore. I would life from Mount Rushmore. My faith from Mount Rushmore. Like, man. Like, I mean, my all-time Mount Rushmore. I mean, I would have to say. I mean, oh man, it would probably be my dad, my uncle, my best friend Jay. I don't even know. Like, I mean, I should say my mom. I should, but probably my sister. Like, I love my mom to death. I just feel like me and my mom are one and the same. I feel like my mom and my dad are kind of one and the same. But as far as like people that have just, helped shape me by far, like, oh yeah, dude, my pops, like, I want to be like him so bad, it's ridiculous. And then, my best friend Jay, like, come on, bro, like. There's not a lot, like I said, there's not a lot of people, like, he's more like my brother and anything, but there's not a lot of people that legit see the potential in you, like, hey, no, bro, we're going to go till you get it right.
Yeah.
And, my uncle, like I owe all the game to my uncle, number one. And like, I don't know, man, he's the first real dude that was my dad and told me straight to my face, man, I love you, dog. I'm like, what?
That's a big moment.
And then it's my sister, man. Like, I don't know. Like, I feel like she's on the cusp of a breakthrough that even she's not aware of. You know what I mean? And like, I just, I feel like we McClains are late bloomers. It took me a minute to figure out my potential. And then what I did, I was like, oh, it's a wrap. I feel like she's on the cusp of figuring out her potential. I think it's about to be a wrap for the game. So I just like, I don't know, man. Like, this, all the time in the world we have, you know what I mean? It's the most, I just feel like human beings, we have, we are the most precious resource on this earth, you know what I mean? And time is probably the most precious thing that we have. And if we treat it as such, man, it's so much could be accomplished, but we don't. We act like we have forever. It's just so weird. But yeah, man, that would be my Rushmore. Thanks for asking a question no one ever asked. See what I'm saying about the interviewer becoming the interviewee? I knew it was gonna happen. All right, we're down to the last thing. I am so excited for this. Like,
okay.
This is so. As tradition has it, ladies and gentlemen, I was asked the question: if you're accosted in the alley, gun to your head, and the assailant says, "You have 15 seconds to sing, rap, chant a song word for word, or you can't make it out of this alley alive. Could you do it?" Your answer would be
yes.
Yes. Second question, the assailant says, is what is your song, chant, whatever going to be? Your answer is
Super Bass by Nicki Minaj.
Oh, ladies and gentlemen.
listen. This is not. It's not like my favorite song or anything. And I go back and forth on Nikki on my feelings towards her, but this is my karaoke song. And so if I was accosted and I needed words to come out, these are the words that would come out.
Well, I am going to set your timer.
Okay.
15 beautiful seconds.
Okay.
Whenever you're ready, go.
This one is the voice with the boomer system, top down AC with the cooler system. When he come up in the club, he be blazing up, got sacks on deck like he's saving up. And he ill, he real, he might got a deal. He pop bottles and he got the right kind of deal. He full, he dope, he might sell coke. He always in the air, but he never flying coach. He a mother trip, sailor of a ship. When he make a drip, kiss him on the lip. That's the kind of dude I was looking for. And yes, he gets slapped if you're looking out.
Oh my God. And she did it. You made it.
I'm alive.
You're alive. Denise, I cannot tell you how. I don't even know, man. It really does my heart good to see you doing so well.
I gotcha.
I'm glad you're happy. I am glad more than anything that you're able to look back and be like, I know my worth. You should have known it. Peace. Like that's Jerry Maguire. You pulled a Jerry Maguire. You know what I mean? So like I'm not joking, man. That's inspiring, man. And I think more than anything, man, I think those of the number that they're gonna be able to listen to this. Those are people that we spread it to. I think a lot of young men and women are gonna be inspired. There's a lot of people right now in jobs and they do not feel like they're being given their fair share or they're being really being acknowledged of their worth. And there's men and women that are in relationships, the same thing.
Yeah.
Common said it best. For you to grow, he had to go. So why you making him stay? And in this case, he is the job. He is the bad relationship. He is the toxic person that you're with. For you to grow, they got to go. So why you making them stay? Denise, where can you be reached?
I am on social media. I have a Facebook page, like my public Facebook page, and then my Twitter and my Instagram are DENISECabellotv. Fun fact about Cabello, it also means hair.
Hey.
So DENISECabellotv. And then when I was at the station during COVID, like during the work from home orders, we were making TV from home. So I started putting Izzy in my videos with me, and we would do little like science experiments and stuff. And so now we are doing those on YouTube. So you can find my little YouTube page at Not an Exact Science.
Oh, that's so cute.
It's fun.
That's dope, man.
That's me.
Thank you so much, man. I'm definitely
you.
Back in touch.
Anytime.
Thank you so much. You have a great afternoon. I'm gonna go to the gym. Great.
Me too. Psych. Love you though.
Love you. You guys have fun. Bye.
Bye.
All right, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed the podcast. If you like what you saw, like what you heard, if you're on YouTube, make sure you go like, you comment, subscribe. Make sure you tell as many people as you can. I'm trying to blow this bad boy up. If you're on any of the other forms of media, obviously just make sure you subscribe. Tell as many people as you can. I'm trying to think of what else. If you are in need of coaching, clothes, nutrition, swag, you can always go to my website, lsmclaim.com, and we will take care of all your needs, right? We got it all. Hey, that's what it's about. Thank you guys so much for watching and listening and subscribing and commenting and just making this thing blow up as much as it has been. Let's keep it rolling. Appreciate you guys very much.